Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Global Digital
Digital
Success
Success
Talk.
Talks.
Hi, everyone, and happy and blessed Monday to those who are on Monday, and happy and blessed Tuesday to those who are on Tuesday. So today we will be talking about Attraction Marketing 101. So, how to draw the right people to your business. So, that's the topic for today. But before we dive into our topic, let's introduce ourselves. So, hi everyone. My name is Sandy. I'm originally from Panama, but I'm currently residing in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I also work in the movie industry, and I'm a proud digital business owner.
Hello, good morning. We're here in the morning today. My name is Isabel. I am originally from Mexico, but I live in North Carolina, USA. I am a wife, a mother, a grandmother, a proud digital business owner, and mentor.
Yes. We also want to remind everyone that every Tuesdays and every Thursdays we have our live webinar. So if you want to learn how you can start your online business and start earning online, all you have to do is register in any of the websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar. It's a 90 minutes webinar where you will learn how our online business plan works, and also you get to hear testimonials from members of our community. In this case, we're going to show you the panelists from last past Thursday's live webinar. They will be sharing with you why they decided to start their online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So when you register into our website, you receive an email that has the replay link in this case, and also has the link to register for our live webinar. So it will take you to a page that will have two buttons, one for Tuesdays and one for Thursdays. And then you can register for either one or for both of them. In addition to that, we also invite you to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community. Um, and there's more information about the business. All right, so let's see who were the hosts and panelists from last Thursday's live webinar.
Okay, guys, if you're ready to learn about this amazing opportunity, you can register on the websites on the screen. Last Thursday, we had a live webinar, and our host was Maria. Maria is a retail clerk and IT programmer. We also had Remia, she's at Stay Home Mom. Kamitra is a civil engineer, and Nadia is a retail manager.
Yes, and we also have Anusha. She's an ex accountant, so that means that she's doing the business full time. And we also have Kurti and Aish. So she's a biochemist and portfolio manager. So we have a couple doing the business. And then we also have Shah, a public servant, and Agnes, a former OFW. So as you see, we have different walks of life that decided to take that leap of faith to change their lives. And some of them are doing it on the side, and some of them are doing it now full time. All right, so our replays has subtitles in several languages, and our live webinar has subtitles now in 5 languages: that's Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. All right, so let's dive into our topic for today. So, what is our topic for today, Isabel?
Yes, so our topic for today is is attracting marketing 101, how to draw the right people to your business.
Yes. So, so today we're gonna be talking about that. So, first, so what is attraction marketing? Why do we have attraction marketing? Well, we do have attraction marketing because people don't buy products. Okay, they follow people. So let's talk about how to attract the right audience by showing up as our authentic self. So that's why, um, so it doesn't matter what product you have, they actually follow the people, not the product. So hello again and welcome back to another empowering episode of Global Digital Success Talk. So like Isabel mentioned, today topic is a favorite of ours, attraction marketing 101, because that's what we do in this online business. So how to draw in the right people to our business without chasing, convincing, or messaging. Okay, so that's what we do. So attraction marketing is all about being the magnet, okay, not the megaphone. So instead of begging people to look our way, so we position ourselves as leaders, we share value and build trust. So our audience wants to work with us. So in the next few minutes, what are we going to be talking about? Hold on.
Okay, so we'll be talking about attraction marketing one-on-one, how to draw in the right people to our business without chasing, convincing, or cold messaging. So stay tuned. We have a lot to talk about this topic today.
Yes. And today's points.
Today's points are what attraction marketing is, how to position ourselves to attract the right people, and content tips boost visibility and connection. So,
Yes. So let's start with the first point. Go ahead, Isabel.
okay, so our first point today is what is attraction marketing? Well, attraction marketing is a strategy where we lead with value and authenticity to naturally pull in our ideal audience. It's not about hard selling, it's about sharing our story, providing helpful tips, and showing how our business fits into a real lifestyle. So, for example, instead of saying buy this, we share how our business has helped to create more freedom, support our families, and gain time flexibility. That emotional connection builds trust and draws people in. So, you know, the first point here, sharing our story. I think for most of you, you know, that have been following us and see our lives, you may know our stories by memory now because we share it so often. But when I came across this opportunity, I was working in corporate and I had been working in corporate for over 20 years, you know, and I have three kids. They grew up during that time that I was actually working that full-time job, and it was stressful because I was working long hours. I was missing most of the milestones with my children. And when I saw this opportunity, it was like, you know, the answer to my prayers because I wanted more flexibility. I wanted quality time for my children. And so, even though I didn't have the experience, I had no knowledge about social media, about marketing, businesses, nothing. I took that leap of faith because I wanted to change my life. And, you know, at first it seemed like out of my reach, something that I couldn't do. But because I had the desire to change my life, I took that leap of faith. And I am so thankful and grateful that I did because now I have more flexibility and I can be there for my kids. You know, my youngest one, I take him to school, I pick him up from school. And now I'm here to help my daughter with her kids because she has two kids. She has one 4-year old and a 2 weeks old baby. So I'm there to help, and I couldn't be more blessed to be there for my kids and to offer them the support that I couldn't give them, you know, earlier in their life. And then providing helpful tips. You know, we're always doing this live, sharing our story and telling you guys that it's possible. You know, anything is possible as long as you believe and you have that desire to change your life. You have to have that because otherwise, you know, we can all dream and we can all hope for a change. But if we're not taking action, if we're not doing the steps that we need to change things, nothing's going to change. So we're always providing helpful tips and how our journey has changed our lives. You know, we have had obstacles, we had so many things in our way, but we also had blessings. We had people that we found in this business that we have built amazing relationships, you know. And we have so many business partners that are doing so great in the business and they inspire us every day. And then showing up how our business fits into a real lifestyle. Well, I couldn't show you better that with my example, you know. My business works, or I put my business around my family activities. Whatever I have to do with my kids, with my husband, with my grandchildren, my business I fit it into the spots where I don't have anything going on so that I don't miss anything. So you don't have to adjust to the business will adjust to the life that you have going on now. And that couldn't be more amazing, because a lot of times when you have another business or something else, you have to have, the schedules, you have to be there at certain times, you have to run, do this and do that, and then your family is always in on the other side, on the back half, where when you have time for them, you're going to be there for them. Well, this business is not like that. Your family is first, and then the business fits into your lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I totally agree with what Isabel said. Um, so attraction marketing, yeah, that's one of the things that we use in our business because we want to share our story. So when we start our online business, we have different reasons. Some of us have similar reasons, but all different reasons that made us take that leap of faith to change our life.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes like it could be like financial burden because you have too many debts. Sometimes you want more flexible time because you're working too much, and you want to be able to find a job that, like Isabel mentioned on the last point, adapts to your schedule and not the other way around. So there's different reasons. You want to be present, for example, for your kids. Like many parents, they lost that opportunity.
Mhm.
Some of them, they still have smaller kids, so they want to be there for those smaller kids, on present in their lives and not missing those milestones. um, so yeah, so sharing our story, it's great because like we mentioned, it's attraction marketing. So at the beginning, people might not really believe us or knowing us, who we are. So but they get to see our journey as we go. They get to see how we change. Like if we go back to our page when we started, we can see how green we were. So to compare to where we are now, but and we're still growing. It's like
Mhm.
we never stop growing. So yeah, so sharing our story, people start listening to our story, so they're really starting to understand, okay, why they're doing what they're doing, what is the reason behind what this business is providing to them, what is business changing in their lives. So those are the things of why the reasons why we share a story, providing helpful tips. So like Isabel mentioned, we're doing lives. We also provide content in our pages, and through our content, we talk about our why we took the reasons. We also we have some guests sometimes, so you get to see other people who also are part of our community, online business community, who took also the leap of faith. So you get to hear their stories, their journey, their pain points, the reasons. Um, Also, we also provide tips. Like, for example, now we're educating you, what is attraction marketing. We also share our experience, in our journey through our lives. It's kind of like a behind the scene of a life of a business owner. So that kind of stuff. But also, teaching you what we do, so you have an idea of what is required to as a business owner. And also, working on the mindset, because that's very important too. Um, Sometimes we don't have the right mindset to start a business, and that's what we are teaching you, how to shift that mindset from being an employee to an entrepreneur. So once you shift that mindset, you will see how many opportunities you have in front of you. Showing how our business fits into a real lifestyle. Yeah, like you mentioned, like uh, many people, they kind of like they document their journey, so you get to see that. Others, they provide it through other ways, but it's just showing, like the flexibility of the business, the portability. When we are traveling, for
Mhm.
example, and we are taking our business with us. Like for example, when Isabel and I we were in Japan, um, we did a live. I think we did two lives in
Yeah.
Japan. Yeah, two lives in Japan. One, we interviewed someone. So that was very interesting because, like Jesse was in Canada, we were in Japan, and our guest was in France. I think it was in France, yeah. and and we were in different places. And at first, like we cannot pretend like Isabel was in another place. We were in the same place. So when we talk later with our guests, we say, "Oh no, we're both together." So that was kind of cool to show. But yeah, so you can take your business. The portability of the business is one of the things that I love. So showing how our business fits into our real lifestyle is amazing, to show you guys what this business can do for you. So yeah, so that is what is attraction marketing, showing all these three things, to our viewers, so they get to understand better, our journey, the reasons why we start this, and then how this online business fits into our life, providing, the benefits that we get from that. All right, so let's go into point number 2. So, how to attract the right people. Okay. So, for this one, to attract the right people, we need to be clear on two things. So, one is who we are and who we want to serve. So, who we want to serve is the person that we want to target. Okay. So, once you know those two things, then we're gonna go to the next point. So here's how we do that. So there's 3 points for that. So be authentic, now know your audience, so our audience, and show transformation. Okay, so let's start with be authentic. So people connect with real stories, struggles, and wins. So the more we share from the heart, the more our audience feels safe to engage. And and this is one thing, like, sometimes a lot of people just show the happy side of the social media, what they do. But in reality, like, behind the scene, there's other stuff that are going, like you got your ups and downs, and that's what we show in our lives. We say that this is not like rose or rose color, all the time. We have our ups and downs, we have our struggles. But the important thing is how you overcome those obstacles. uh if you're not supposed to stay in there. Okay, you can be a little bit down for a while, but then you have to bounce back. Okay, you don't
Mhm.
stay there. So that's the key. Okay. So we show, or through our content, how to, we do the be authentic by showing, our real stories. We say, what profession we were doing before, what were the reasons behind why we decided to take this journey, the struggles that we encounter, when we started this journey. Because, when we started this, a lot of us, we don't know anything about online business. I didn't know anything about online business. I had a little bit of traditional business because, when I was little, well, once my 15, we used to have like a small grocery store in Montreal. But that's kind of like all I know. But online business is totally different. Like, when I really didn't know what to expect. So we learn everything in this business. They teach us, they provide all the training. We have mentorship, plus we have the live training too. So we learn from each other. So don't worry about that. So it's part of the journey, to learn. And yes, sometimes, we might find some struggles, but, that's why we have the global online community to help us out to keep pushing and continue on that, and help us in the technical part. Okay, so the second point, know our audience. So speaks directly to their pain point, okay, their dreams and goals, because really your audience is like you, okay? We all have somehow, like I mentioned, we all come to this global online business community sharing kind of the similar pain points. It's not all the same, but in a way, it's kind of the same. So sharing through that, connecting with speaking directly to their pain points, dreams, and goals. So when our message matches that need, okay, so because they relate to us through our what we're sharing, the connection becomes magnetic. Okay, just give me a sec. So yeah, so that's what you need to know your audience. So your audience is kind of like targeting yourself, but then you got to find I think we talk in one of the past lives, we talk about the niche. You gotta know your
Mhm.
niche. So you gotta know who you're targeting to. And based on that, you go and talk to them through their pain points. The third one is show transformation. So share before and after stories. And like Isabel mentioned, people who has been following us, they can see, when we started and where we are now. So they're seeing the transformation that we are going through. So that's what you want to show. You want to be present, consistent in your business page, so people can follow you, and then they see your journey. Like many of our successful online business owners in the community, like our leaders, you can see them, their journey from when they started to who they are now, and you can see the transformation. Not only financially, but also in their self development, and their growth.
Mhm.
um, so now they're passing that knowledge to us, who we are starting the business. um, so the other one is, well, not just results. So yeah, so you want to share your story, not just results, because some people tend to show just results, but they don't show, their journey. So you gotta show your journey, because that's how you connect with people. That's what we're doing. We're talking about here, the attraction marketing. So you want to show a journey that will inspire others, to empower them, to be able to change their life. Because many times, we know we need some change, but we don't take that action until we feel inspired seeing someone, and we say, okay, I want to be like them, so I'm gonna do it. So you want to be someone who will inspire and empower others to take action, to be able to have a better lifestyle than what they are having right now. So that's what I will say for now. So I'll let my co-host stop.
Yeah, Sandy, when we say be authentic, like we are all so unique. We have a different story to tell. We yes, we are regular everyday people, but we face different struggles. Our lives are completely different in many ways. And when I started this business, I started with the mindset that I wanted to impact mothers, for example, because I am a mother, and I know the pain of leaving your children behind, in the daycare, in the babysitter, wherever, so that you can go out to work every day. But doing that, you miss so much time with them, you miss so many milestones. So when I'm posting, when I'm making videos, when I'm out with my family, I want to be authentic, showing people how my life is as a mother, what I have gone through as a mother. Me personally, growing up, I could see my mom making so many sacrifices as well. And they work so hard to give us a better future. Well, we like, I want a better future for my kids. Yes, I had a better future than what my parents had, because they did so much work, and they started working since so young and stuff. But now that, I have changed the way I see things, I know that there's something better, and I want my kids to have the best. And I think, part of being authentic is not only showing an audience what we're doing, um, but also lead by example to my children, and show them that, that I can do things out of my comfort zone, that I'm a go-getter, that nothing's gonna stop me, because I am determined, and I can work on my goals, even though, I face obstacles. There's times, like at the beginning, where I was trying to do something like, create content, and I got frustrated because I didn't know anything about that. And I used to call them and like, hey, can you help me? What did I do here? And they used to come and and fix whatever for me. So, I'm sure they have noticed now that I'm not asking them as much, because I'm learning every day. I'm doing something to learn and to get better at what I'm doing. And that's part of being authentic, like Sandy said at the beginning. this digital business, this entrepreneur journey is not easy. It's not like everything is, colorful, nice, and you're going down like a rainbow path. It has its ups and downs, and we have to, have that mindset of persistence, of not giving up, of keeping going. Yes, today, maybe my day wasn't so good, but I'm preparing every day and I'm learning more so that tomorrow will be better. At least I'm not going to have the same obstacles. No, I'm not going to have the same what do you call it? The same thing that was bothering me today is not going to bother me tomorrow because I'm learning my lesson. And we want to show our audience, that we're everyday people. Like there's nothing special about us, but the only thing that makes us different from other people is that we decided to take action, even though everything was like maybe, out of our comfort zone. Maybe the odds didn't seem right, but we knew deep in our heart that we wanted a change and we took action. So that's the difference between people who hope and people who actually work on making their life better. So I want to impact other mothers. I want to show them that it is possible. You don't have to have a career. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have any business background. All you have to have is a desire to change your life. And then with our example to, show people our transformation, how our lives have changed um, since we started, like you said, Sandy, at the beginning when we started doing, especially when we started doing our business, we could not even talk about going live because we knew we were not ready, we couldn't do it. And even though we kept pushing it, when we decided that okay, is enough, we're gonna go live. I remember going my first live, I couldn't talk, like I had to go out of the life because it was too much for me. But then we started small, going out, doing lives, doing things. And then now, we're not experts, but at least we have the confidence to go out there and do it and talk about a certain topic and trying to impact and change our lives, other lives out there, people that are watching us, for them to see that it's possible. Nothing starts, you're not going to start being an expert, but you have to start somewhere. And all you have to have is the right mindset and you'll be there.
Can you
Oh,
hear
you
me?
want to add some?
Yes,
Yeah, now we
Melissa.
can.
Okay. Um, I totally agree with you. Sorry, I'm trying to calm down. But I'm just trying to imagine like when you're starting off a business, there are people we are looking up to, and sometimes we lose the thought that we need to be ourselves because we are not the same, just like Isabel said, everyone has their own different story. And sometimes we really want to be perfect, especially people who are doing very well. And probably they have mastered the way of doing business, the way their brand, actually, they've mastered their brand. So sometimes maybe we get lost and we are trying to be all over the place. So, but at the end of the day, the people who are watching us or our leads, they want our true selves, because all of us, we have a different story, we might have the same ideal story, but the story is not the same, like Isabel is relating more to the moms, an immigrant coming all the way from Kenya, and I've been moving around different countries, and my story is sort of different, though yes, we have the main goal, yeah. So coming in and selling your brand, so first of all, you need to know yourself. Who are you? Who are the people you are attracting, once you know that, and the brand can keep on changing with time, right? Once you know yourself, then you'll be able to communicate yourself in a very authentic way to the audience that you want to attract, and that's how your audience are going to relate with you, when we started off, I know most of the time, we were just trying to, maybe the people who are there, they've been on social media for quite some time. Sometimes you try to be like them, but you can't be them. Even maybe sometimes you really want to talk fluently like them, but you can't. Because you're different. As long as you're able to communicate in a clear way and people understand you, then that's who you are. Then with time, you can keep on improving yourself to be a better person. Yeah, so I think that's what I can quickly share about, how to attract the right people, how to be authentic, how to know your audience. And from there, the transformations, starts coming in because people are able to understand you. That is it for me.
Thank you, Melissa. Okay, so what part of your story resonate most with your audience? Let us know in the comments. What is the like, if you have a page or even in your personal profile, what is the part that most people resonate with your story? All right, so comment below and let us know. Okay, so point number 3, Melissa.
Okay, so we're going to point number 3, and we'll be sharing content tips to build trust and visibility. So one of them is show up consistently, because your audience want to know you. They want to know Isabel, they want to know Sandy, they want to know me. So we need to show up consistently. Visibility builds familiarity. If they keep seeing you every day, they see how you do things in the morning, if you're posting like frequently, then they get to know you. And then use videos. I know for the first time when you're starting off, most people shy off, but you really don't even actually have to do like go lives. You can just actually do a short live, a short reel, or a video and just post it, because I think there's power in the voice. The minute you start speaking, they're able to know how you speak. It's not the same as just writing a post. So using video is very important because it creates a deeper connection and trust. People can see you, they can know your smile, they can get to know you better through your facial expression. And then thirdly, end every post with a call to action. I think that's something actually I got to learn when I started the business. We really didn't know about that, because you just want to have like your hook at the beginning, and then you share your story along the way, and then give a call to action, because we are here marketing ourselves. So at the end of the day, you need to ask a question or invite an engagement. Inviting an engagement is going to create more conversations. You as an entrepreneur, you are going to learn something different maybe from through that engagement. You might get people sending you messages, asking you more about the business and so on. And sometimes it's not actually even related to business, but when you're starting off, you want to build that trust. If it's not a matter of just selling or marketing something. You want to build a relationship and trust with your audience. And then lastly, share a mix of content. We always say when we come here, we come to inspire, we come to educate, and actually show behind the scene, and some of the things that you are doing along the way behind the scene, apart from business, or the things. It's a journey. We always say like entrepreneurship is a journey. So for you to be where you really want to be, there's quite a lot of things you're doing behind the scene. Like before we came here for to do this live, we've had to prepare all these content. So there's quite a lot of things that happen behind the scene, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. Yeah. Was I audible? Because my internet is fluctuating a bit.
No, it is. Yeah,
good.
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's what I can share about that.
Okay.
Okay, so showing up consistently, is It's a way to show that you are taking your business serious, that you're not just doing this as a hobby, that you're not doing this to just get, likes or whatever, that you are serious about doing this business, that you have a passion for it, that you want to share with other people, and that, our main purpose is, to attract other people through our story, through our journey. And, when you post consistently, when you show up, when you're there every day showing them what you're doing, what your day looks like, what you're doing throughout the day with the business and with your personal life, that's the way that you want them to see, because people want transparency. They don't want to just see all the time about the business. Yes, yes, she keeps talking about this opportunity, but how is she doing this opportunity? I think it's important to show the personal side of your life in this journey, to show them, yes, this has changed my life because now I have more flexibility. I have time for my kids in the morning. I can go out and go on a walk and maybe go on a life while I'm doing the walk and talk about this business. And, I have a big, big family. I'm one of 7 kids, so I have a lot of siblings, and we do a lot of stuff together. And sometimes, I do some of the lives like while we're doing some of the things that we do, because we do a lot of sports and we like, nature, we like hiking, we like outdoors. And so when we're doing that, I like to go live and show how is it that we spend our time as a family. We're very close. And so, my business has changed the way I was living life before. Before, I didn't really have much time, to go do all these things and to share with my family. And, having that bonding time is so important. And it makes your life so different because you feel part of, everybody else. You feel alive and you can enjoy so many things, that when you have that, you know um, repetitive cycle, when you have that stressful job, when you're frustrated, you really don't have time to go do those things. Or if you have just a little bit of time, after coming back from your job, after doing this and doing that, the time that you have, you wanted to rest, to get some peace, and you don't really go out and share that time with other people. So I think that is important, to show up consistently, but also show people what you're doing, while you're posting, and how you inspire other people through your example. And then, like I said, using videos, doing lives is even better because they can see it. I think, that we all can see a lot of posting about the business, about this, about that. But when you actually see and you connect and you can see people that
Mhm.
are really showing how this business is impacting them, you can really relate to it and say, yes, I'm ready. I can do this, if they're doing it, because we're everyday people. There's nothing special about me. If I can do it, you can do it too, right? So that's what I'm trying to show when I'm doing this. And, sorry, before, when I was posting, I wasn't really doing a call to action. I started doing that not too long ago, because a lot of people, that they don't react unless you have that call to action. They feel like the message is personally for them. They're like, oh, okay, well, let me do this because, she said to maybe reply, comment, whatever is it that um you feel like the message is more personal that way. So I started doing call to actions not too long ago, like I said. And most of my posts are directed towards mothers or parents or whatever. And so, I always talk about having more quality time for your family. If you have more quality time for your family, comment below, let me know, how is it that this could change your life? How do you see that this can impact your life? So, um, and then sharing a mix of content is also important, educational, inspirational. I'm a big believer. I have faith in God, and so when I do my posting, I always talk about that too. Because if it wasn't for Him, what I'm doing couldn't be possible. I believe in God, and I know that He favors us in so many ways throughout our lives. We have so many blessings, and we have to stop and see that. What blessings do we have, and how are we sharing those blessings with other people? How are we impacting other people with our faith? And then as far as educational, we do these lives, and every time we do one, we have a different topic. We're trying to educate people, inspire people, motivate people to see this opportunity and see how it can adjust to your life, and how is really possible for anyone. You don't need special skills. We provide everything, through the training. So you don't have to have a master's degree. You don't have to have anything. You just have to have the willingness to do something. You have to have that mindset of persistence, of okay, I want to do this, and nothing's gonna stop me. So, and our personal wins, we always talk about that. We will also talk about our obstacles, how many obstacles we have faced. So many obstacles in our journey, but that has made us stronger. That has given us confidence, because we have learned our lessons through our obstacles. And then we also have shared about our wins. Like, I'm not the same person that I was when I started this business. When I started, I couldn't just come out here and talk to you, but this business has changed my life, given me more security, like in personally, more security, more confidence. Now I can talk about whatever, and I don't feel like I'm less than anybody. I'm just a person. I'm not an expert. I'm not this big successful people like you see, like Elon Musk or anything like that. But I know what I want, and I'm working towards that. And I can come and talk about what I'm doing and what I have done. That's all I
Mhm.
can say. But yes, and we're also, showing behind the scenes. A lot of times we do postings with pictures of the things that we're doing and the things that we enjoy. Because I can tell you now, at the beginning, I didn't see myself doing this, but now I can say that I enjoy this so much every day. And every day when we come out here and talk to you all about what is it that we're doing and how is it that we do it, it's just, it fills my heart in a way of happiness and fulfillment, because I know that I'm sharing this opportunity with other people that may need it out there. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Yes. Yeah, you girls have pretty much say everything. I think show up consistently. We had another live where we really focus into that topic, what is important to be consistent, to build that trust with the audience. Because, if you show up every day, they get to know you, they get to know who you are. So you start building that trust, from the beginning until you continue. So it's very important to show up every day. One of the YouTube trainings that we have, when we were reviewing, the YouTube channels of some people, not in our community, but we could see, like some people, they start, but they stop and they don't continue. So that's one of the things that you gotta be consistent if you wanna be able to reach your goals and to reach to get in touch with someone. You gotta be consistent. It's like we mentioned before. It's a journey. It's not an easy journey. It got its ups and downs. So sometimes you might be not feeling motivated because you're not seeing that your content is getting engaged, but it takes time. When we started, I post, nobody had seen anything. Or when we used to do lives, there was nobody viewing the live. Now we get, some engagement, people commenting or give us some likes. So it changed, but you gotta be consistent, because by only being consistent is that you're gonna create that audience, that people that will believe in you, that will trust you, and that will follow you. So, but a lot of time we tend to give up so fast and not continue. So show up consistently. That's the key. to be able to build that trust and to be able to see those results. Um, Use video, yes. Um, Video is, I would say, yeah, post, text, and that is good too. A lot of people, because we have different kinds of audience, like we have the audience that love to read text, and they are not too much into videos, but most of the majority nowadays, millennials, they are used to video, social media. So videos for them, it's good. And and the reason videos, because the power of the video is amazing, because it's the mix of the visual, the audio, you know, what you're saying, plus the music. So if you incorporate all these three things, you make people, get into what you're trying to show. That's why, we have movies. If you take a movie and you remove the music of the movie, and you watch it, for you it's like, okay, it's not so good. But when you put the music, and for the different type of scenes, that's what it makes it, to get into the movies, the lighting also. So all this video is really important, to create that deep connection and trust with your viewer. And now, like, if we see the social media platforms, the reels and the shorts, for example, on YouTube's or TikToks, those are the ones that are really getting most attention right now than the actually long format 16 by 9. The 16 by 9 is still good, but it's like before, it used to be, the longer you have it, the better for the viewers. But now, like, people are on the go, so having shorts and reels, and you get to the point, what you want to show to them, it's a way to connect with them, and then eventually they get to see your longer content. But in order to attract them, you have to do short and catchy, and like we say, they share a mix of content, educational, inspirational, behind the scenes of online business journey. What do you do? So they get to really have an understanding of what is a journey of a business owner, and you want to educate and inspire others, like we mentioned before. We want to be able to inspire other people, to empower them, to be able to change their life, have a better lifestyle. So, and celebrating small wins. Every time that we celebrate small wins, we gotta, it's not only for your audience, but also for you, because that's what keeps you pushing forward, and people also gonna see through your small wins. They're gonna see how your journey is changing along the way. So they see your journey when you start, they didn't know who you were, okay, let's see who she is, let's start to following her through her content. But eventually, they start getting to know you more and more, and they see how you celebrating the small wins. So how your small wins keep being more consistent, and that's what it will keep attracting your audience to follow you and to follow your content. So, oh, we have a comment here from Erpton Salmon. Hi, Erpton. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your
Hello.
comment.
Thank you.
Hello.
So yeah, so that's what I would say for all that. Oh, call to action. Yeah, this one, I like, Isabel. I wasn't too much about call to action, but we have to ask. There's a girl that I followed her content. Her name is Terry Savoy. Um, well, I can't remember her last name. I always have has had a hard time. But one of the things that she said, you have to ask. If you don't ask, how people are gonna know? So you gotta ask. And one of the things that, ask for a poll. Okay, I asked one of my group channels. We say, what is it that you would like to see? You want to see more inspirational, educational, or motivational? And they reply back. Um, so they told me, they like inspirational, inspirational and motivational, educational too. But mostly, what inspiration. I think nowadays in our world, we need more inspiration,
Yeah.
be able to inspire people. So um, it's very important, to educate, to inspire, and to show our journey behind the scenes, like Isabel was mentioning. So people have a better understanding uh, of what we do, and how this online business also help us, to do the things that we do, having that more time to spend with our families, um, be able to do things together. For example, be able to for me to do things together with my mom, which before I couldn't do it during the week because I was working. So it will be only on the weekend, and sometimes some of the things that she wanted to go, they're closed on the weekend. So now I'm able to be and doing it with my mom. So that's one of the things that this business allow you to do. Okay, so let's see. So what is the pro tip for this point?
Okay.
Melissa?
The,
Okay.
the, the pro tip for today is people follow people, not products. The more relatable we are, the more attractive we can become to the right audience.
Yes. Yeah. They don't follow products. And I think we hear this a lot, People don't follow products, they follow people because they connect with people, who they are. That's why a lot of brands, when you see the brands, they will have what we call, I can't remember the name right now, but usually every brand will have someone they will hire um, to represent that brand. So, for example, Lancome, sometimes they used to have before in the past Celine Dion. So Celine Dion was the brand of Lancome. Um, we have, for example, I don't know if you see for those who are in Canada, the AMW. I don't know if we have AMW in the US, but AMW, there is this man who has been for so many years, and he's the brand uh, person, of the AMW. He always in the commercials. Um, so people follow people because they relate to those people. And through them, that's why they buy the product. So we can see that example on the main famous brands, like I mentioned, like perfumes, they usually have an actor or a singer, or cosmetic, to represent their brand because people will connect through, not through the product, through the person who's representing, or who is using. That's why influencers, those people that want to promote their products, they utilize influencers because they have the popularity through people. So that's that way. Once they use it, people say, okay, I want to use that. So that's why, people follow people and not product.
Allow me to share something quickly. I just remembered, and I know we work in the online space, but I'm reminded that even for physical shops, if you know a physical shop and you know the people there, maybe when you go there, they are very friendly, they
Mm-hmm.
greet you, you have a conversation. It's more likely that you'll be going there than going to another shop that probably is very close to your home. Why? Because there's trust. There's
Mm-hmm.
already trust and relationship that has already been built between you and the owners of the shop, or let me say the ones who are selling. So for real, it's not about the product, it's about the relationship that you're creating with your audience. So same thing here in the online space. That's why you really have to be authentic, just be yourself, because people are not looking for perfection. They just want to know you, and maybe there's someone like you who is going to relate with you, and they'll be like, I think I connect with this person, so I'd rather know what she's marketing. Yeah, so that's very, very true. So if you're out there, authenticity is very important. Creating that relationship is very important. It's not just a matter of just selling products. Just don't be just out there selling, selling, selling. First, create the relationship. And I think even most of the posting, if you're in the online space, just don't be selling, selling. People don't like to be sold things.
Mm-hmm.
All the time, like it's nagging on their heads. If every post they see you're selling for them something, every day from morning to evening, like they get bored, and it looks like it's not real because you're not creating the relationship with them. You're not inspiring them. Plus, like the way Sandy you said, you need to inspire, you need to educate people. Like it's not like you're selling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, very true. That's a very great tip that I'm sure most of us can relate with.
Yeah, I like that example that you use because we
Yeah.
can relate. I think everybody can relate to that example. You know, we all go, out to eat, we all go grocery shopping, we all go do these different things. And I
Mhm.
think, we relate to how people make us feel. When people make you feel welcome, when they give you the services, or they treat you well, then you're like, oh, I want to go there. On the other hand, when you go to
Mhm.
eat and maybe the waiter, whoever, wasn't nice, they didn't have good service, maybe they it's not about really what they have, is the way that they treat people. You have to have good customer service,
Customer
because
service.
that's what you want at the end of the day. You can have the best day, but if
Customer
you
service.
have hateful people working for you, believe me, nobody's gonna go. Because there's times where I have gone places and I like the food, but just the people, the customer service is not good. I'm like, okay, first and last. So
Mhm.
that really makes a difference, the way people make you feel, and how they treat you.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree with both of
Mhm.
you. And I love the example that you mentioned, because I didn't picture that. I picture, in the other concept, but when you talk about the traditional businesses, it's true. It's the customer service, and good example of that. Two other things that I have done in my life as a job. I used to be a hostess, and also a shift manager. And many of the customers, when they came to the restaurant, they say, oh no, I want to be with them, because they know that they wanted to have their specific waitress to
Mhm.
serve them, because they love them. So yeah, so that's one. And when I used to work in retail, the same thing. There were customers who were looking for a specific salesperson, because they love the way that they found him knowledgeable, friendly. They can talk to, and not only about selling the product, but about talking, like very talkative. So yeah, so people relate to people. So we can see that also in the traditional way. And good example, Melissa. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it's true.
Mhm.
And it's all about customer service. Yeah, same
Yeah.
customer service. Okay, so what is our takeaway for this topic?
Okay. So our takeaway for our today's topic: remember, attraction marketing isn't about shouting louder. It's about showing up smarter, being real, and offering value. When we show who we are, the right people will come. Just from what we've been talking about here. It's not like every time you're shouting and telling people, buy my product, buy all the time. It's being smarter, sharing something that has value. And time to time, they'll be interested and they'll be curious to know what is it that you're marketing here. So
Mhm.
that's our tip and takeaway for today, who is watching us.
Yes. um Also, the other thing, like, what the customers want to know, what the benefits they're getting from, you know I remember when I was starting the business, and I was trying to record an ad with one of my friends. And there was we were trying to record, and then there was a gentleman on the other side, and he used to work for a publicity company. Okay, so he used to do ads. And he heard us talking while recording the ad. And then he listened to us, and then we hear that we were discussing, my friend and I. And then he approached us, and he said, I've been hearing you girls, trying to record this ad. But people really don't care about who you are. What they care is about the benefit that you're going to provide to them. you know
Mhm.
um so yeah, so he gave us that insight, that we didn't know, because we tend to always say, hi, my name is Sandy, blah blah blah. But really, people want to know, what are you providing to them? What benefit are they going to get from what you're giving them to what you're giving to them. So also, attraction marketing, it's not only about you, but it's also, about them, about your audience, about what they're getting, into it. So that's why you need to showcase to them what are the benefits that you're showing to them. Okay, um, so we hope that you had some insight of today's topic, and also some tips, um, from what we share, and the journey, of what we share also, through our experiences. Um, and if you have any more topics that you would like us to talk, or any more tips, that you want to include to what we mentioned today, please put it in the comments and we'll be happy
Mhm.
to uh, reply to those comments, to read it. And then if you have a topic that you want us to talk, we are also, welcome to talk about that topic. So put it in the comments if you want us to talk about something else that you are interested to know and you wanted to learn more. um, Saying that, we want to say thank you to everyone for being here with us today. And for those catching the replay, also thank you to our followers. Thank you for being part of our journey, for believing in us, and for engaging with our content. For those who doesn't follow us, you can follow us up here on the top, so you get to know us, who we are, and also what type of content we put in our pages, and more information about the business. We also have here an emoji, a love emoji from Bill and Jen. So thank you, Bill and Jen, for your emoji, and thank you for
Thank
watching,
you.
and also for our comments today from Earth. So thank you for watching, and thank you for your comment. If you want to learn how you can start your online business and start implementing all the things that we provide on every live, all the tips, so you have a more insight of how to do your business. You can register in any of our websites with your name and email address, and we're gonna send you that invitation to watch the webinar. We have one live webinar tomorrow. So it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, and 6 p.m. MST. So when you register into our website, you receive an email that will have the replay link. So in this case, we have a replay link from this past live Thursday. And also, there will be a link to register for a live webinar for every Tuesday and Thursday. So we'll take you to a page that will have these two buttons. So you can register for either one or for both. And also, you get invited to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories from members of our community and more information about the business. So you got nothing to lose, more to gain, because this is just free information for you. So when you what are you gonna find out in the webinar? Okay, so on the webinar, you're gonna learn how our online business plan works, and also you get to hear from testimonials from members of our community. So in this case, we're gonna show you who were the hosts and panelists from this past live Thursdays, and they share on that webinar, why they decided to start their own online business and how this online business has transformed their lives. So let's see who were the hosts and panelists from this past live Thursday's live webinar.
Okay, so yeah, like Sandy mentioned, we have live webinars every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So you guys can register on any of the websites on the screen to attend the live webinar. And if you don't have time to watch it during those times, do not worry. You can always register. We will send you the replay so you can watch it at your own time. Our host for last Thursday was Maria. She is a host. She's a retail clerk and IT programmer. Remia is a stay-home mom. Kamitra is a civil engineer, and Nadia is a retail manager.
Okay, we also had Anusha by profession. She's an ex-accountant and now running this digital business. Thanks to this digital business, we also had Krit and Aish by profession, biochemist and portfolio manager. We also had Sha by profession. She's a public servant, and also Agnes, a former OFW, and currently also running this digital business. So these are the panelists and the host that we had for our last week webinar, which was on Thursday. But if you'd like to catch another live, we're gonna have another one tomorrow on Tuesday. So you can visit our website. You just put in your name and your email address, and you can watch this live that we had last week on Thursday. Or if you want to watch a new one, you can still be able to register tomorrow and watch another one. Yeah.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Melissa. And yes, so our replays have subtitles in several languages. And our live webinar has subtitles now in 5 languages. So Spanish, French, Tagalog, Vietnamese, and Arabic. Okay, so now you know what to do. So if you want to learn how you can start your online business and start earning online, just register in any of the websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we'll send you that invitation to watch the webinar. All right. So what is next Monday's topic?
All right. Our next week on Monday, this is the topic we're going to be talking about: the power of storytelling in marketing, how to move hearts and inspire action. So it's more or less a continuation of what we've been discussing today. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same time, but yeah, we're gonna be showing up next week on Monday, God willing.
Okay, thank you. So thanks again for joining us today on the Global Digital Success Talk. And remember, attraction marketing isn't about shouting louder. It's about showing up smarter, being real, and offering value. So when we show who we are, all the right people will come. Okay, so saying that, we want to say thank you, everyone, and wishing everyone a happy and blessed Monday for those who are on Monday, and happy and blessed Tuesday for those who are on Tuesday, and happy and blessed week ahead for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's the beginning of the week, so I hope everybody has an amazing week. And it's the last day of March already, guys. I cannot believe that. So, I hope you had a wonderful month, and we have a new month ahead to still work on our goals, on our plans. There's so many blessings coming. So, let's open our hearts and be ready and keep working for that.
Yes. So until then, keep being you, and that's your superpower. So see you next week for the next episode of the
Global Digital Success Talks.
Thank you, everyone. God bless
Bye,
you all.
Guys. Have a wonderful week.